Someone dies every 12 minutes of suicide from being depressed. That comes out to over 41,000 people a year. It is estimated that approximately 6.7% or 16.2 million adults in the United States have a depressive episode every year. What does depression mean to you? It is shown that many people view depression as only a situational disorder and that it is only triggered after a sad or traumatic event. While depression can be situational, it is also a clinical and chronic illness that can be caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. Undiagnosed depression can cause serious and even fatal problems that can lead a person to take their own life or even the life of someone else. When someone says they're depressed, it is often thought of as them just being sad when it can be so much more. A person can have a chemical imbalance in their brain causing them to have a predisposition to depression. Some of the less known symptoms can be anxiety, slowed thinking, or even anger. While counseling can help for some people who are diagnosed with depression, everyone is different. Some people with depression require medication to be taken to help stabilize the depressive symptoms. I have a friend who was diagnosed with MDD, or better known as major depressive disorder, which is one of the most commonly diagnosed forms of depression. I asked her what her symptoms were that led her to believe that she was depressed, and not all of them were known to me. Irritability, restlessness, feeling isolated, trouble doing normal things such as showering, or even thoughts of suicide. These were only a few of the symptoms that she had. Depression is not always on the surface where we can see it, and is often known as the silent killer. Just because someone seems outwardly happy doesn't mean that they don't have a battle going on inside their head. As I stated earlier, depression can take on many different forms that many of us may perceive as something completely different. A person may come into work overly tired every day, and their coworkers believe they just stayed up too late, when in reality, they can't sleep because they're depressed. Since no two people are the same, when it comes to treating depression, what works for one person might not work for another. Counseling is one method that may help with depression. Being able to talk about what may be causing your depression can make the person feel more secure. Therapy can also benefit a person by learning ways that they can cope with the negative feelings they are experiencing. Medication is also a treatment for depression, with many different types available to help narrow down what will work best with the type of depression they are experiencing. Some of the medications are, but not limited to, antidepressants, anti-anxiety, or antipsychotic medication. Someone dies every 12 minutes of suicide from being depressed. That comes out to over 41,000 people a year. Some people do have situational depression caused by some type of event. Depression is not just limited to sadness, but can be shown in an array of different ways that may not always come across as someone being depressed. Feelings of worthlessness or fixating on past failures can be a form of depression as well. That's not the case for everyone, and some depression doesn't just pass on its own. Chemical imbalances in the brain cause the brain not to function normally, leaving the person in a negative and distressing state that can last a lifetime. Counseling or therapy can be a safe place for a person to talk about how they're feeling and learn techniques to help them cope with and handle their depression. Although that works for many people, others need a different form of treatment, such as prescribed medication. Depending on how severe and what may be causing the depressive state, there are many options, and your doctor may have to go through several trials of medication until they find one that will work correctly for you. Depression is real. It's a mental illness that affects millions of people in the United States every year.